ॐ तत्सदिति निर्देशः ब्रह्मणस्त्रिविधः स्मृतः ब्राह्मणास्तेन वेदाश्च यज्ञाश्च विहिताः पुरा. So, yes, it sounded a little out of meter, but it is very important to give the highest respect possible to this one single sacred syllable Om, without which nothing can be rectified, nothing can be improved in us. And this beautiful word represents wholesomely the unmanifest as well as its reflected manifestation. So why not respect it? Om Tat Sat. Okay. This has been declared to be the triple designation of Brahman, Nirdesha. It is not Brahman, but it is the designation. It is the attribute given to the Supreme, Brahman. By that were created formally the Brahmanas, Vedas and sacrifices. So, today's man will immediately pay attention more to the word Brahmanas. Created by, by that were created formerly the Brahmanas. Oh, so Brahmanas were created. What about the others? So Bhagavad Geeta talks about caste. No, let us understand properly. See, either half knowledge or no knowledge. Both are so dangerous for human life. Why? Because human beings are intelligent. Had it been an animalistic, instinctive life, then there was no worry. As per the instincts, one lives, survives and dies also. But when it comes to human being, we are wasting the most important equipment that we've got, that is Viveka. Power of discrimination, then decision making, then intellectually learning and deciding, and then growing out of our ignorance. Who will get this beautiful chance in a lifetime to come out of ignorance? No way that a lower level of evolution can help that being to come out of ignorance. Not to talk about the inert matter, forget about it. Inert, no, equipment is not good enough to express wholesomely and fully the infinite presence. Human beings have that capacity, and then we waste our life in unnecessary arguments or denying the golden words of scriptures, Brahmanas. Now, how many times you would have come across such an expression where, say, one of the five senses has been mentioned, say space. So immediately we have to connect space and followed by air, fire, water and earth. Why? Because space indicates the Pancha Mahabhuta. In the same way, eyes. So it will indicate Pancha Jnanendriyas, right? So Brahmanas will indicate all the four castes. But what comes first? See, if from the best something has to come out, it has to be the best. Deterioration comes later on, right? Now we can't say the other castes are deteriorated, but we have to. Why? Because we have done the 14th chapter, Gunatraya Vibhaga. Yeah, right. So what happens that if I as a human being, I fall from my own standard, it is not that somebody else is calling me by some other caste or creed or whatever. It is my own fallen being. I have to understand and come out of it. That's it. Nobody can stop my progress. But yes, nobody can also elevate me without my transforming my own inherent tendencies. So, the caste Brahmana is given to those, see, it's a caste, like a caste, cast iron, huh? It's a cast or a mold, okay? So in the mold, you put anything, the same model will come out of it. What makes it a cast is a particular shape given, so that in that if you pour anything, what comes out is the same, okay? So in the similar manner, in human beings, we see certain combination of gunas. So if sattva is predominant, followed by rajas and very little tamas, automatically that person is quite erudite and very sober, noble and kind, compassionate is supposed to be, right? So the inherent tendency will inspire him to think right, to decide properly, to keep the mind calm and to act wisely. If a person is of that kind, he automatically falls into the caste of Brahmana. Now, there starts falling, So more of rajas. So even that person who's got this predominant sattva, if encourages himself by rajasic tendency, what will happen? He will automatically fall. The moment he falls, but sattva is there. So he comes to the Kshatriya clan, where he is ready to fight it out. So Brahmana has got all the four tendencies. Temperaments, you can say. Tendency, the three, combination differently, and the temperament goes from up to down. So, but it cannot go from down to up. Definitely, if predominantly I am tamasic, it is very tough for me to upgrade myself to rajas and sattva. But it is very convenient for me to fall from sattva to rajas and tamas. So, who has to be more careful? Definitely the Brahmanas. So, maximum scope of falling is for Brahmanas, right? As human beings, if the Brahmin does not use sufficiently his intellectual ability to discriminate and to keep the mind quiet, self-control, refrain from unnecessarily indulgences and denial, self-denial, all those practices are a must for a Brahmin. Closest to Brahman. Vedas. Now, Veda, the word indicates knowledge. So, the books of knowledge, books of highest knowledge, knowledge of the supreme reality. But again, it has to be followed by every kind of knowledge, as we have just discussed, right? But the first will come out definitely the knowledge of the supreme. So, I went to buy some gold ornaments. No, you went to buy. Why should I go to buy? Okay. So you went to buy some gold ornaments. Okay. So first you will see the quality of gold. Then you will come to alloy, etc. Right? Because you expect gold out of gold ornaments. So out of Brahman, you expect the knowledge of Brahman first. Right? Then followed by secular types of every knowledge, inclusive. In the word Veda. Has come out from where? Brahman. One has to be conscious enough to be acknowledging the knowledge. Suppose I don't understand a word of chemistry, okay? Not someone's chemistry, I mean the subject chemistry. Suppose I don't understand chemistry at all. But at least I will understand, that I don't understand. Who made me understand? My own consciousness made me understand that I don't understand. Simple. Animal does not know about it. Man is aware of knowledge. Right? So, in my awareness, I accept or reject. So I have to be blamed for my ignorance also. Now that I am conscious of not knowing chemistry, it does not put me in that section of people who are to be rejected as though by the scriptures that you can't learn anything about the Vedas. Therefore, why? Because you don't know anything about chemistry. That is no criteria. Why? Because the knowledge of the Vedas, talking about Brahman, are not talking about the false superimposition, knowledge of the superimposition. Now, the knowledge of superimposition includes all these objective subjects. And Vedas talk about the subject itself, right? So, these are the two things separate. But yes, the person of knowledge of the Vedas would know that he doesn't know about the material knowledge, if he doesn't, or to whatever extent he knows. So that makes him all-knowing. So the Vedas that way have come out of Brahman, the conscious being, the consciousness. And then Yajna, the sacrifice. So what all the tree sacrifices? The tree sacrifices its bark, the tree sacrifices its twigs, the tree sacrifices the leaves, the tree sacrifices the flowers and the fruits and the seed and every part of the tree. Tree sacrifices. Can we say that? We cannot. Why? Because the tree is not sacrificing. It doesn't have the ability to express the activity, no. But if suppose the man does so man is sacrificing. Why? Because there is a choice for him, either to do or not to do so. So who is sacrificing? Tree is not sacrificing. Tree is helpless in front of nature. Man is not to that extent. Man is helpless when the nature's calamity starts, no? Otherwise, man uses or misuses the nature. So whether I want to sacrifice or not is my prerogative, not the tree's prerogative. So whether I want to part with my fruits that I have or not is my prerogative. Tree helplessly hanging there. Anybody comes and takes the fruits. What to do? He can't say that, no, don't take. So, sacrifice again. One has to be conscious, right? Aware of what one is doing. So, and then what sort of sacrifice? Look here. The highest type of sacrifice for a nation, we say, is the sacrifice of life, what they do at the borders, at the time of war. Highest sacrifice, supreme sacrifice. We call it supreme sacrifice of our army, navy, air force, the military. What the scriptures say, what is the ultimate sacrifice one can do is sacrifice of ego, individuality. So, what is sacrifice? What the word sacrifice means will include all these, no? All sorts of sacrifice. But the superior most is the ultimate sacrifice of one's individuality. That will lead me to realization. So now, Brahmana, the character of a Brahmin is the most conducive for the sadhanas that can take that Brahmin to self-realization. The knowledge of Vedas are the superior most knowledge that talk about liberation and that can take us, the knowledge of Vedas can take us to self-realization. The highest type of sacrifice possible is the sacrifice of ego, which again liberates that individual from individuality, the conditioning, and takes him to self-realization. So basically all the three words are talking about what? Om Tat Sat. The Supreme Brahman, that thou art. Realize it. What else? What are we doing as a human being? We can do it, but we are not doing it. Why? Because we are more interested in worldly objects. Our neighbors, what they are doing, what they are eating, what is new in this shopping mall, what happened in that corner of the world when the war began between the two countries, who spoke what, they forget it. I have better things to do. I have to lead a life which can lead me to realization of what this designation is speaking about. Is Om Tat Sat. Is talking about Brahman. Okay? Remember, Bhagavan says, Trivida Smritaha. It has been declared, so we also have to remember. Om Tat Sat. So we had done the three parts of the Bhagavad Gita. That thou art. That Tat. That Tat I am. And that Tat has been designated with three words, not only Tat, but before Tat is Om and after Tat is Sat. So let me see why the three words for the same Brahman. One Brahman, three attributes, why? Must be some reason, otherwise Tat would have been enough, Om would have been enough. But no, the whole statement goes like Om Tat Sat. So the two wise men meet and they'll say Hari Om Tat Sat. Or say Om Tat Sat. Om. When the two friends otherwise will mean hello, hi, like that. Because for a common man, it is important to know about the social status and what happened to the family, this, whatever, what did you do in your holidays, things like that. For two wise men, they are not interested. At the most, they'll ask, oh, you are coming from Kailash Mansarovar. Nice. But now what happened there, the person who is asking knows what happens is such a personal thing. Not much can be spoken about these experiences, right? So what happened when you went to Haridwar? Oh, we went to eat that chaat. That's at the most one can understand in a common man's language. So hi, hello are enough for those people. But for wise men, hi, hello is not sufficient. So they'll say, Om, or they'll say, Hari Om, or Namo Narayana, Om Namo Narayana. Let us bow down to the Supreme. Let us remember Supreme. We have met each other. So both are the self only. Who's meeting whom? We both are the self. But yes, now that we have separate identity, so let us remember that oneness between two of us. Now this oneness in hi, hello is there, but not so much. Why? That depends on your mood. Like, if you are meeting an enemy, you won't say hi, that's all. So, the moment you say hi, as if there is oneness, yes, there is some kind of oneness, all right. Some amity, some friendship is there, some relation is there. To a passerby, you won't say hello, hi. that much oneness. So much of conditioning is there. Now, Hari Om Tat Sat or Om Namo Narayana, it is immediately connecting you to the oneness which is belonging to the whole of creation. It's not that my relative, my friends, my enemy, nothing. Therefore, let us see the right import of these three words. Tasmadomityudaritya यज्ञदानतपः क्रियाः प्रवर्तन्ते विधानोक्ताः सततं ब्रह्मवादिनाम्. Therefore, with the utterance of Om are begun the acts of sacrifice, charity and austerity as enjoined in the scriptures, always by the students of Brahman, Brahmavadina, the believers of the Supreme Reality, the unmanifest. Therefore, they will chant Om before any act of sacrifice, any act of austerity or any act of charity. Why? Why is it so necessary to chant Om, etc.? We don't believe in those things. No, you don't believe in those things. That means you are denying Brahman straight off. So we'll see what happens. This chapter will conclude with a statement, such a strong one. Okay? So let us wait for that. Now here Bhagavan says that the believers, not to talk about non-believers, the believers will definitely add this word Om. Because they know. What do they know? They know that I am going to do this sacrifice. Suppose I am about to do some sacrifice. It can be Dravya Yajna. It can be a sacrifice where you kindle a holy fire and then put oblations, ahutis. In that also, my complete integrity is not guaranteed even by my own self. Don't we have that experience? It is our daily experience that my hands are working here, my eyes are looking there, my mind is wandering somewhere else, my intellect has got half knowledge of what I am doing, even for the mundane activities. Talking about connecting with Brahman wholeheartedly and fully integrated with my physical existence, my mental and intellectual existence. From my heart it has to come, and it is so difficult to put that kind of an ahuti. Even at the physical level it becomes so difficult. Now suppose I am doing that manasa puja of that kind. Only mentally I am doing some japa yajna. How much more? My mind will wander here and there. So definitely if I chant Om before I begin or before every mantra used by me at that time, it will at least purify my mind. To that extent it will have an impact that for quite a considerable period of time I'll be united with the Supreme. If Om is chanted properly. So one has to learn how to chant after all. It is not that somebody is chanting Om and it is going to impact me. No, I have to chant it. It can be mental chant. Or it can be even aloud, chanting aloud if possible. So what happens, yajna, dana, tapa, all these activities whenever we perform, no matter how much we try, because of imperfections, and it is natural to the nature. In nature, a man cannot expect everything to be perfect. Why? Because perfect is one and one without a second, and that is Brahman alone. Other than that, everything is imperfect. You see, the sun. Okay, there is a sun and you are standing under the sun. So your shadow. It won't be the same, no? It will keep as per the movement. If it can be your movement, it can be the movement of the earth where you are standing. So the shadow also keeps moving. The shadow cannot be perfect, no. And this world is the shadow. The world is the reflection. Reflection also cannot be perfect. Perfect is one. Rest is all imperfect. In this imperfect world, I am trying to do some act to become perfect so that it is befitting the perfect Brahman. So therefore, required. To whatever extent it can perfect my activity, to that extent it will be beneficial for me. And if I don't chant, then difficult. Why? Because I am already not united with the Supreme. I have to be already united with the Supreme before I act. Om helps me to do that. So, the believers of Brahman, they know and they wisely chant Om before every such act. Now, before every such act, what about other activities? Won't we need to chant Om then? Let us remember, we have gone through the Bhagavad Gita thoroughly and we know that the person who chants Om with this kind of an intention would have elevated himself to sufficient sattvic tendency of his, so that to convert every act of his into a sacrifice. It is not that he has to separately do some sacrificial act. No, every act can be an act of sacrifice. How many types of sacrifice have been explained in the Bhagavad Gita earlier in the 4th chapter? Ultimate sacrifice, definitely yes. But all activities become sacrificial for that wise man. Anything given away by him is a charity. Every purposeful act, intentful act he performs is for some kind of austerity, some kind of tapasya. So, it is definitely yes, Om is important for him. So, he'll do japa. Om japa constantly. Now, when somebody does a constant japa, definitely it becomes internalized. It doesn't remain a bahiranga sadhana, it becomes antaranga sadhana. So, with every breath, it is happening. Let that stage come. But to start with, chant Om. If you believe in Brahman, taking Om as the form representative, the sound representative of that which is beyond form and sound, that which is unmanifest, which is imperceivable by the senses, not perceivable by the senses.